one who comes to Japan leaves without a set of highly personal images. Some visitors are struck by the similarities, the feeling that daily routines are pretty much the same throughout the world, the feeling that life's most basic emotions and problems are, after all, universal. Other visitors are stunned by the differences, the sharp contrast between themselves and Japanese. Reality is probably somewhere in between. The lives of 3 Japanese families couldn't possibly reveal the full diversity of a culture, but they are, at least, a beginning. One image of Japan lives on. In a highly urbanized society, there remain many places of immutable beauty. The old Japan, the village society, has faded, but it's not all gone.
For generations, the Kumagai family has farmed this land in Tanahata, a village in northern Japan. The grandfather is 85. His grandson, Ryuko, now runs the farm.
Ay, señor. No está, はい、千両。どこに始まる。
Another family is up early this morning in Utsunomiya, a provincial capital north of Tokyo. Yamamoto Hideo owns and operates a grocery store. Hideo and his wife Fumiko have lived and worked in Utsunomiya all their lives. Theirs is a family business. Shigeta Mitsuo lives in a suburb of Osaka, Japan's second largest city. "48 years old, a college graduate, Mr. Shigeta has worked in the advertising section of a weekly sports magazine for 22 years. As the oldest man in his department, Mitsuo has the privilege of coming to work after the rush hour. His commute takes 45 minutes. Like millions of other Japanese workers, Mitsuo joined his company by passing an entrance exam after he graduated from college. Yamamoto Fumiko has a key role in the family green grocery.
主人はお店で売るっていう方ね、お店に買いに来た人に売ることね、陳列して売るっていうことでしょ。1袋ぐらい？はい。私の方は、お得意先がたくさんありますからね、それに注文の品をできるだけ間に合わせる、時間と品数をね間に合わせてあげるっていう。それに伴って結局いるものは全部自分でこう揃えるっていうか、絶えず気を配って用意しなくちゃ。それと時間があるもんですからね、もう時間に間に合わせるっていうことがもう一番必死ですね。品物を揃えて時間に届けるっていうことね。時間に縛られるっていうことはね、もう朝もね4時半になると目が覚める。で5時前には起きちゃいますね。お父ちゃんこれお願いします。
八尾熊ですが、検知お願いします。
はい、ご苦労様です。
生シェが5ね。さやこれね。
500ね。ポパイケチャップ。
これが1缶ね。
でなめこ
が5缶ね。これね。3、4、5ね。
はい。でパセリでしょ。
パセリはこちらですね。はい。
ね。今ね。
はい。
レモンですね。
はい。レモンは出ますね。レモンね。
レモンね。
はい。ね、生姜ね。
生姜。
はい、これで全部ですね。
はい。じゃあお願いします。
はい、どうもありがとうございました。
はい、じゃあ。
はいどうも。
ご苦労様です。
The Japanese would call Shigeta Mitsuo a salaryman. He's received regular salary increases and promotions throughout his career. But even though he's worked here 22 years, Mr. Shigeta is only a middle-level manager. He feels a part of the company team, but he hasn't risen as high as he'd hoped. But his job as an advertising account manager has a major compensation. Mitsuo feels that as a veteran member of the 13-person staff, he has more freedom than most in making daily decisions. Ryuko's father is in his 60s. He's still active on the Kumagai family farm, even though he's turned over management to his son. The father is an adopted son. He entered the family to keep the name alive, since grandfather Kumagai had only daughters. Now grandson Ryuko, an agricultural college graduate, manages the farm and experiments with new pasture techniques. It took a while, but he's finally convinced his skeptical neighbors that it's safe to let cows graze on the steep slopes. The old custom was to keep cows indoors and bring them the feed.
そして48年からここら辺の山を伐木して、そして今年が4年目になるわけです。でまだその始まったばっかりでまだまだですけれども、だいたいこう将来っていうのが見えてきたような感じがするんです。こんな傾斜のところへね牛を放牧するっていうことは思いもよらなかったわけです。日本にあった気候にあった風土にあったそういう草の種類とか、あるいは牛をこういう傾斜地で慣らして子牛の時からどんどん育てる、そういうことでできる。今までこう農村では後継ぎがないなんていうのが問題になってましたけども、やっぱり私としては自分の子供らがこういう農業ならやろうと言われるだけにこうやりたいと。
The house was built in 1720. In the 18th century, the Kumagai family raised horses for feudal samurai. Then after the Meiji Restoration, they supplied horses for the army. By 1925, the family was raising beef cattle. After the Second World War, they began dairy farming.
そういうの場合仕事そのものをこう楽しみに考えたり、やっぱり肉体的に苦しいこともありますけどね、そういうのを楽しむように考えようと努力してるわけです。それで例えば今日のカルディ鳥の作業でも芝がつけていれば年々こう増殖してくる姿を見ながらやってれば自然作業もはかどるし楽しくもできるんじゃないかと思うんですね。野菜とかなんとかもできる限り自分のところで作ると、そういう農民の特権ですからね。だからそういうのは生かしたい。米だけはちょっと労力的な配分ができないからうまく入れられないですけど、あとのものはだいたいできんじゃないかと、自家消費程度は。そして今はいるじゃがいもとかレタス、あと人参、大根、キャベツ、きゅうり、トウモロコシです。
はいどうぞ。はいどうも。はいやね、これ止めてみましょうね。はいありがとう。はいありがとう。はいありがとう。
青物っていうのはやっぱりその日に仕入れたものはその日に省いていかないと値打ちっていうものが下がっちゃうわけなんですよね。で今は前と違って今度市場が大きくなったでしょ。買う単位っていうのがまた大きくなってるわけなんですよね。でそういうのをやはり、一番責任を持って省くっていうのは私ぐらいしかないような立場なんですよね。全然詩人はそういうこと心配しないから。昔は高級品っていうのは 2倍なり3倍なりって倍に儲かった品物もあったわけですよね。でも今は結局デパートとかスーパーなんかで目玉商品にするでしょ。野菜でも何でもそうですけどね。値段っていうのはお客さんが明るくなってるから、安く売らなくちゃならないものもあるような状態ですからね。
いろんな人の買い物して商店にとってるわけですから。
For Shigeta Fusako, Mr. Shigeta's wife, shopping at a supermarket is only an interlude. She works almost every day at a beauty parlor run by her husband's sister. She has only 5 days off a month. Fusako controls the family budget, like most Japanese wives. Her income is crucial to the family future. Her husband's salary cannot cover both their living expenses and the cost of sending their children to special tutoring schools and later on to university. Yamamoto Hideo is a well-known man in his neighborhood. As head of the local Green Grocers Association, he has the friendship and respect of his fellow merchants.
魚も荒れてて少ないんで、何でもやるのも大変でしょ。ダメだね。物が高くなってくからね。物がね。日本はどうです？やっぱり我々みたいのはオタクと同じくほら天候に左右されるからね。だからなんとも。そうですか。それだって一定したお金で売れないんでね。そうだよね。高い時なんかますますリアが当たんなくなっちゃうからね。我々もこれから生活するのにもね、一つ考えなくちゃならないことが出てくるでしょう。そうでしょうね。
Over the years, the heart of the Yamamoto business has changed, from a simple grocery to a wholesale warehouse operation. They sell to schools, to restaurants, to offices. But even though the business has expanded, the Yamamotos still try to provide a personal touch to their service. The grandparents started the business. They've retired, but they still control the finances for the entire operation. Yamamoto Fumiko is so busy with her work, the raising of the children is in the hands of the grandmother. The grandmother wants the children to take over the business. Hideo and Fumiko hope their son and 2 daughters choose their own futures. Fumiko also disagrees with her mother-in-law about how the children are being raised.
子供のことについてもやっぱりだいたいおばちゃんの意見が主に取り入れられているような状態で、あれと思う間にも3人とも3、4にできてしまったっていうような感じですね。自分の手で育てなかったっていうのはちょっと寂しい感じがします。親だったらね、時間に何をさせる、学校帰ってきて何時から何時までけじめっていう、一応勉強しなさいなんて言っても、2階にいるとほら、漫画の本読んでるか何してるか分かんないっていうようなそんな状態なもんです。
さあ勉強しましょうか。今日はどこからでしたかね。16ページのレッスン3ですね。石川さんちょっとここへ書いてみてちょうだい。倍音というのも含めてね。
Twice a week, 17-year-old Naoko attends special tutoring classes called Juku. One is for math, this one's for English. Even though Naoko doesn't like the class, scoring well in English will be important when she takes her university entrance exam.
こういうのがよくね、入学試験に出るのよ。重田さんはどこの大学受けるつもりかな。知らんけど。決めてない。今2年生やったね。行くことは行く。受けることは受ける。
ただいま。
帰り。
食事何時？もうすぐだけど。
Every evening, Shigeta Fusako prepares dinner for the family in a kitchen about 8 feet square. They feel they've outgrown their cramped apartment, and they often talk about moving. But if they do, she and her husband would both face a longer commute to work. Fusako's job and housework leave her little time to herself. She complains that her daughters don't help enough at home.
天ぷらしてもうまいんだから、オクラは天ぷら。天ぷらもうまいよ。これは生で食べていいの。そのまま。はい。
As they prepare to eat the evening meal, the Kumagai family in their farmhouse, the Shigetas in their suburban apartment, the families have come to the only part of the day when they'll all be together. For the Yamamotos, the greengrocers, there is no family dinner hour. They have to eat when they can.
「なおちゃん、あとね数学とねそれからね国語の漢字のね名前付けのと理科研究何したらいいか教えてよ。理科研究なんか自分で考えよ。
It's Sunday in Tanohata. The local fire department is staging its annual parade. Kumagai Ruko is a volunteer.
まあ旅行は好きですけども、まだ当分できそうなんですね。ただ一番困る時がその冠婚葬祭のな、どうしても出なきゃなんない時、七夕村消防団っていうのがあって、若い人はほとんどもう都会に行って働きに行ってるので、男が少なくなったんで、数年前から婦人協力隊っていうのがね、それをまあ男の減った分を婦人たちでも 手伝うようにしようっていうんで、婦人協力隊っていうのができて。
ピーマン2袋ね。大根ってかす漬けじゃなくて。そうですね。日曜日も結局デパートとか結婚式場なんか忙しくなるっていうかね。やっぱり、野菜はこうガサがあるからね、冷蔵庫入らないでしょ。だから買い置きができないって言って、やっぱりそれ日曜日も結局運ぶっていうかね、2人でやるようになっちゃって。
Japanese are different people than they were in feudal times, just over a century ago. But much of what it means to be Japanese has changed only on the surface. The Shigeta family, like the others you have met, still feel a traditional closeness to each other and to their friends. They still find many ways to be themselves within a crowded, tightly woven society. And they still have a strong sense of commitment to caring for people close to them, to doing well whatever they are doing. That has always been a basic pattern of Japanese life. Japan's traditions will continue to change with each new generation, but the Japanese, as individuals and as a people, will continue to build the new on the firm foundation of the old. I'm Georgette Takushi.
This program was produced by the University of Mid-America, which is solely responsible for its content, and was made possible by grants from National Endowment for the Humanities, National Institute of Education, Hoso Bunka Foundation, Incorporated, the Japan Foundation, Japan-United States Friendship Commission, American Express Foundation, the Ford Foundation, and Commemorative Association for the Japan World Exposition.